Alrighty, welcome back. Just had a little short break, but we're back in the Crystal Cave, still experiencing these bizarre visions. So, uh, the party were just discussing who might go next or whether to take a rest first. But as you've mentioned, Granny Whittaker seems keen to keep pressing on. She says she's fine and puts on a brave smile for the rest of the party. So,
So
Well,
Di hold out her hand um, to Tyro and kind of gesture at the flame in a sort of "you first" gesture.
um, yeah, Tyro snaps his book closed and packs it away, and he's seen everyone or almost everyone except Tanner go through this before, so he's very eager to try it out certainly, and he's experienced with divination magic, so he hopes that the combination of his past experience and the
Mm.
protections he's trying to prepare for will not make this too onerous on Dia.
okay. Alright. So, let's think here. Tara goes up to the sits down. There's a little tiny stool. You can where is it? Can you see it on the map? Yeah, the little tiny one I made. You can sit over there and start staring into the fires. And along with Cahoots, they kind of perched on your shoulder, just staring away. Actually, there's a free stool. They can quite happily hop onto that one instead. Regardless, I'm buying time for myself. Uh, I'm trying to think. Um, hmm. All right, Tara, you begin to stare into the blue flames, feeling a cold chill sort of take you, but it's not one that is unwelcome. It feels one that is actually beckoning you. It's drawing you in like a hand is taking yours and leading you through, and your vision is filled to the brim with this cold fire. And as you do, as you kind of approach and move forward, there's a sensation that you're kind of transforming into something like polymorphing almost, and you're approaching some sort of keyhole in the distance, and it feels like you are the key, and you're approaching the lock, and you kind of insert, but it doesn't seem to feel like it fits or it actually works in this one. You're not sure. It's it doesn't make sense at first. There must be another lock. Perhaps you're in the wrong place, or perhaps you're looking in the wrong place. You kind of pull away and begin to sort of spin around, and you realize you're surrounded by different keyholes. Probably over 100, you could imagine, all trapped in this cube-like chamber with keyholes on the walls, on the ceilings, on the floor. And just which one of these do you fit into? Just which one of these opens the door? Now, somewhere along the line, you start to kind of think up perhaps a process of elimination, and you go one by one. And in your methodical search, you could sneezing, bless you. Your methodical search kind of winds up fruitless in the end. And as you're kind of feeling like a little bit lost still, you feel your form transform back into yourself, Tyra. And you're pondering for a good minute, thinking this this place, this chamber you're in, this puzzle must have something else to it. There's not just a simple process of elimination. You can't just go room to room uncovering its secrets one by one. There must be a solution outside of the box. And well, you can roll me an intelligence check, I think, at this point. But before I give you the
Sorry, that's a save. It's a 17.
17. Okay. Tell me, what does Tyro think
Um,
just in this moment?
yeah, I, sorry, like future vision Tyro or Tyro but sitting at the campfire Tyro?
In a way, both.
Both?
Because,
Okay.
yeah.
I imagine sitting by the campfire Tyro is uh, that this is just sort of just another puzzle to be solved, and that this is a this, like all obstacles, can be overcome with enough hard work, research, application of knowledge, that sort of thing. If only
Mm.
there were a book in here.
And Tyro and the vision, I would say with a 17, you're getting a good idea, a solution of thinking outside the box. What is that solution? I guess.
Yeah, I imagine Tyro in the vision is probably thinking something like, okay, that approach didn't work. It perhaps is maybe too obvious that there's a sort of open this keyhole with this lock approach, and perhaps a like alternate method is here, or maybe this whole thing is actually a distraction um, from the real way to leave this area.
Hmm. Okay. A distraction. Um, you try to pull yourself away, and you kind of almost uh, not give up, but pull yourself to something that may be of more attention, more focus. And as you do that, you kind of put the cube down back on the desk. Confusing at first, but you realize you were holding a cube the whole time. You were not inside it, but on the outside, trying to unlock it. You were just thinking from the inside the box, when really you were on the outside of the box thinking in. It's a bizarre paradox, a confusing subject, but it's what you've come to the conclusion that this place is. And you look around your chambers, you've got your own personal quarters here now within the hut, and you've been fixing it. You've got notes scrawled everywhere, and this sort of little model paradox that you've been toying with is something that's been playing in your mind, and it's definitely spoken to you about the hut more than anything else. This place is it is like a puzzle box, but you're already in the box. So are you trying to get out of it, or are you trying to get deeper in? It's the real question. And you've got these kind of maps. You've tried to map out the actual hut itself and like make a net of it almost. And it seems everything wraps around together. Even if you had unlocked one door in that chamber, it will eventually lead back around and into the same cube. It's just fruitless to keep going in circles. Even if you did it by process of elimination, all you would simply do is map out everything. But perhaps slipping between the cracks is what you need to do. There's space between the spaces here in these rooms. You know it. They can't just be all completely flush next to each other. You can draw an infinity symbol, but there's these two spaces and the space around the symbol of infinity that must have something there, the negative space. And you've witnessed it firsthand when you went into the ethereal plane. There's these gaps. And you've even tried to, you can see around your chamber there's maps of that as well, maps of the negative space in the hut. And there's also a chart, like a flow of all the energy that seems to go to places. You've been trying to figure this out because this is what Terry tasked you with. And eventually you go over to him. You've got the answer, figured it out. And you kind of like knock on his door. You hear a set of footsteps coming up to a chamber, and there is the long haired elf with the, I think he's got like green robes, and elfish ears kind of like poking out between it. Kind of looks at you with a stern face and says, "Ah, Tyrone, welcome. Please, come in, take a seat. You seem to have woke me up at this late hour. Must be important." And as he sits down, you see he places an hourglass on the table and turns it so that the sands begin falling. He says, "I'll give you a few minutes to explain what you've discovered." And at this point, the vision begins to kind of fizzle away with blue fire. You're seeing Tyro express the answers and give him the full explanation. Um, but it seems like this part of the vision obscures and skips ahead. You don't need to know all the nitty gritty details. You'd be here for hours. So you skip ahead suddenly, and you're back in the main chambers, the grand hall where Baba Yaga sits, and you're standing side by side with Terig here, explaining the the weaknesses of the hut, explaining your hypothesis to sort of repair them, make it more powerful, and you've also come to the conclusion as to what the hut really is. And Baba Yaga seems impressed. Her face and the emotion in the chambers, one of triumph, and you can see a big smile on her face. Yes, Tyro solves the hut, and she looks towards Tarek and says, "See now, why didn't you figure this out? You're supposed to be the architect, and here we have someone who's already, well, in my head, sort of reconstructed it, redesigned it. I think we should start from scratch. You know where to take him, Terrig." And he kind of takes a nod, and he says, "I suppose you want to see the inner workings, the core of the hut within the hut, the cube within the cube, so to speak." But at this point, you're not sure that you do. You've come all this way, and solving the puzzle, it would be an achievement in its own right, and it would be a satisfying uh, conclusion to know what it is that makes the hut. But that's not why you came here, and it's not what you promised or bargained with Baba Yaga either. That wasn't your reward. What do you say to Baba Yaga?
Um, I turn to her and just sort of politely point to the page in my notebook where I wrote down our bargain
Mm.
and say, if you recall, I think that wasn't quite the terms of our agreement, although I am certainly curious to learn more.
Oh, yes, it's been many days. No, many years even, but I suppose I should honor that. You weren't after the source of the hut. You were merely aiding me. Now, what can I do for you, Tyro? You have an equation of your own that needs solving, yes?
Yeah, Tyro looks at her and smiles and says, "What is it that you know about that?"
I know that there is someone who's already solved it. Perhaps it is you. Perhaps it is Tarek here. Or maybe even myself. We just need to find them. find the you that has solved it. They say that, well, a million monkeys on typewriters can eventually write, well, the secret book of Raziel, but, well, yeah, I don't expect you to know what a typewriter is. That's something of a weird invention. Regardless, what I'm saying is someone, somewhere out there, in a version, has solved it. I can introduce you to them.
Oh, that would be very intriguing indeed. I would. Um, his eyes are going to kind of gleam for a moment and say, I, I don't think I've ever been so directly confronted with the answers I'm looking for. It's always taken a great deal of study, a great deal of research, a great deal of finding things out one piece at a time. So I'm not sure how to respond when the answer is so forthright.
Well, you've done great work here. I think it deserves a reward. And as such, she begins to lead you to her personal chambers. And she says, I'll just make preparations. Please wait here. And as she kind of disappears, uh, you see Terig still standing kind of side by side with you, pulls out a hourglass from beneath his robes. He holds it out aloft and turns it sideways so that the sands neither fall from one end or the other. And as he releases his grip from the hourglass, it remains fixed in place. It doesn't drop to the floor like gravity would have it. And he turns to you and he says, "What Baba Yaga is offering you, I was offered the same thing, and I turned it down. Can you guess as to why?"
Uh, well, I'm imagining it's a combination of you didn't want to or didn't need to know the answer.
Indeed, it is both, really. You see, the answer's not really the important part. Not for me, at least. I have all the time in the world to find my answer, and I could simply travel to the point in which I did find it. But I realized there was a more important task ahead of me. One that, well, required a delicate hand. It was a vacuum that someone needed to fill. If I hadn't, then everything would have been. Everything would have turned to chaos. I had to become a part of the equation, if you will. It was never my, well, place to really find the answer. I simply had to join in and become, like I said, part of the equation. It's tricky to explain without revealing everything. But I believe the answers won't really amount to anything, Tyro.
Oh my. What was it that's What is it that you have set your mind to that has led you so far astray from your original path?
Because when I realized that hmm, I could not change my fate, and I could not change others, and if I tried to force that, it would break something else. If I. He shakes his head and says, "What Baba Yaga offers you is the answers. But what if, when you find out those answers, the questions make no sense? Something else will break if you break the laws." And he kind of gestures around to him to where that hourglass is stuck, frozen in the air. The world has a way of balancing itself. That balance was taken away by Baba Yaga. That is why I had to fill it.
What were you before you were the architect?
I was much like you, a wizard, seeking answers, finding truth and knowledge. I, uh, I was trying to help someone as well, but I think my own selfishness got in the way. I became obsessed, forgot my original goal. I lost track of time, he says with a solemn look on his face. And he says, Tyro, this vision will no longer be relevant. Once you come back into that chamber, none of this will even matter. I will be happy to talk with you about it more. But this will never come to pass. Not now that you know it. You have already altered time. And it's weird, you suddenly realize that Tarek is talking to you and breaking the fourth wall. This future self of you, well, you will never be able to grasp it again, not unless you ask Baba Yaga to. But she's expecting you to. It's all part of her grand design, you see.
Hmm.
Playing you like a fiddle, really.
And what end do you think that she has in mind?
She wants to break more laws. You suddenly see a crack in the hourglass, and you start to see several grains of sand fall to the floor. He doesn't look at it like as if like shocked or anything. He looks at it almost expectantly, like he knows it was going to happen. But it nonetheless, there is a grave face on him. Like he looks like it means something. It's dangerous, but he has almost no control to stop it, and he realizes when it was going to happen.
Oh, you should probably fix that.
I
I
should.
think I have some tape somewhere in my pack, if that would be.
He smiles and says, "Hmm, perhaps this is all too soon." And
Um,
he kind of goes towards the hourglass, but it kind of goes like slow motion, giving you one last chance before he turns it again.
um, Tyro, Tyro looks at him and says, I have many questions. And you're right, there are no simple answers. And as you say, sometimes even knowing the answers alters the questions, which alters the answers in a endless loop.
A paradox, much like the hut itself.
He nods. Uh, I I think you have given me some thought about the new questions I have to ask. Thank you, Tarek.
He pauses just a moment before he begins to turn the hourglass again. He says, "Me and you, we wizards, we attempt to stretch the laws of physics until they snap where we want them to, snap into place. But Baba Yaga and her machinations here within the hut, she is only twisting the laws of nature until they scream." And as he turns the hourglass, it shatters into pieces, and you see like sand just vanish into air. And as he turns, you see a doorway open up, and there is again another set of stairs leading down towards something. And at this point, I just realized I completely forgot to be doing some good old psychic damage. So during this, during the moment where the what is it? Where you're stuck trying to figure out the puzzle, it's just
Mhm.
1d10. I forgot to do that. That's only 1d10. So you can roll that for us. It's almost like everything catches up. It's almost like Terrig was holding back everything, and then as soon as the hourglass shatters, it all suddenly catches up. Only take 2 points of psychic damage there. Then 2 points when Terrig starts talking out and breaking the fourth wall, because it's just mind-bogglingly messed up that he's here and talking to you about the vision that you're having within the crystal caverns. So you can take 2d10 for that one. Oof, 12. God.
Yikes. Oh no,
Is
Gnomish friend.
who else
Just,
is in here?
I think it's just Cahoots and Gaia.
And
And
yeah,
okay, so Di, did you want to try? You see, Taro's almost about to be shattered out of this vision. Did you want to take some of this?
yeah. How much of that? Can I take all of it?
Yeah, you could.
I can
There you
take
go.
12, 14.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
12. Just the 12. Yeah.
I'll take 12.
All right. And then, as the actual glass shatters itself, we're gonna ramp it up to 4d10 because that was quite a jarring moment where he's talking about the laws of nature being twisted until they scream, and then 20 points of psychic damage to
I'll take 8 of that.
okay,
Okay.
down to 1.
Yep. I'll take 8 of
And
the rest. Yep.
you feel a cold hand on your shoulder, Tyro. It is again Granny Whitaker saying
Yeah,
like perhaps this is enough. And at this
right.
point
Yeah,
you feel like you're heading towards a chamber, going down a set of stairs, not too dissimilar to Dyer's vision. The steps disappearing behind you.
I peek down the stairs and then, like, just to see what's in that room, and then I grab Granny Whitaker and peace out.
Okay. If you want to try and peek, it will be another. I have 5d10 psychic damage.
No, not willing to do that.
Okay, that's fine then. All right.
I don't want to subject Gaia to my excruciating
Both fall
vision.
unconscious.
Yep, sure. Okay. That would have snapped into
Nearly.
place. But as you pull away, you hear Terig's voice. It says, "A wise choice, Tyro. A wise choice. In time, you will see. In time, you will fathom that you are potentially a keystone in a plan that not even I can comprehend." And you're pulled away, and you feel a cold sensation as a chill from the fire kind of numbs your senses a little bit.
Tyro does a full body shiver and says, "Oh, exhilarating."
Ah! More
Thank you so
lies,
much,
Tyro!
Dia. See,
And
reflects on that
fun.
for a moment. I don't know,
You see-
Dia. What would you say? I would say that was just one of many possibilities made manifest.
I'm not sure what I was looking at, to be honest. Yeah,
Tarek
I'll leave
seems
that.
to
I'll leave that to the wizards to decide.
he's saying this out loud as he's writing down his notes. He's saying, Tarek seems to think I've uh, got some role to play in Baba Yaga's future. But that doesn't seem like as much of a surprise. I imagine we all have a role to play in Baba Yaga's future, just as we all have a role to play in each other's futures. Certainly for the time being. Now we just need to figure out how they're all connected.
You see there's a big vein kind of like pulsing on Taro's forehead. He's definitely had an intense mental vision. It seems to die down after a while.
I think it's about time we all went and got some rest. Some proper rest.
You say that, and as you suddenly look across the fire, you realize Granny Whittaker's head is hung in her lap, and Grizz, the hand that has been gripping yours, has gone kind of limp.
Granny, okay, could give her a little shake. Like just gonna grab her shoulder, like Granny Whittaker.
What the
What the-
fuck?
No, not again.
Dinah, help her.
I have nothing left.
I'm gonna back up, because I've already seen one evil demon come out of a body today, and that's
You
enough.
start to feel the bones in her hand cracking and popping. The nails have turned slightly.
Again!
The nails have turned into claws.
I'm going to rush over and sweep up Tyro, and I'm going to bolt towards this door here.
We're
And
not
I'm going to shout,
me!
everybody this way!
Yep. Following.
The blue
following you.
flame
Grizz,
dies.
come on.
The blue flame dies out. In fact, all the lights on the crystals begin to flare up intense blue. And you see Granny Whittaker's form go from this lovely little old lady.
Oh, no.
Suddenly the flesh stretches. You see eyes suddenly pop out of several other places on her skin.
What
Then
the-
horns elongate from her temple, and her teeth turn into fangs. And her hair suddenly unravels from its nice neat bun into a crazed array, just like spiked on end as if it just been through a blizzard. And finally her forked tongue whips out. And she lurches forward towards you guys.
Oh, fucking...
Fuck!
And I would say roll initiative, but it's also where we should end tonight's session.
We got nothing, Chris! I got no spell slots!
We've got
Yeah,
nothing,
right
but
there.
we've got the door to the kitchen right above us.
Yep.
We just need
yep.
to get out.
Run the... What the fuck is that?
It is all kinds of messed up, that's what it is.
And I didn't get a vision.
Well,
I'm sad.
maybe to come.
This is your vision right here. This is what happens when you mess
Yeah.
with Raziel. You get-
What if we're all still in Dia's vision?
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh my fuck.
No, the visionception. Wow. First of all, Chris, nicely done, man.
That was like, God, that was
Yeah, wow.
That was fucked.
like that went by.
fucking
That felt
awesome.
like, yeah, that felt like a fucking. That felt like a proper session. Like
Yeah.
I can't believe it's
Storytelling.
already like 10 o'clock and it's already been like 4 hours, but it feels like we're just getting started.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does feel
Oh.
that way.
We just spent an
Yeah.
entire session. We didn't move one space.
No, it's mad. In a way you did, but not in physical terms, yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That was like unlike anything I've ever played D&D. I've never had a session where it's a spirit jaunt. The whole
Yeah.
Crossover
Wow.
episode.
Same.
And all of them so different.
Yeah.
Like-
our
Yeah.
characters. I don't know, man. Like, how are we all gonna work together? We all have such different ambition. Things we gotta do. It's gonna be
We'll just have to kill each other off one by one until there's only one left.
Yeah.
That's very
Highlander.
true. Can we
Highlander
all
hut.
agree, starting with Ember?
Cowards.
Well, funny you mentioned that, but on almost everyone's visions, they were almost all alone in a way. Like none of, as in you weren't with each other, and this was ultimately a bad outcome for most of them, and you weren't with each other, which I guess tells you one good little hint, and that's stay together. Stay
Okay,
together, and maybe
yeah.
the bad
No,
stuff won't happen.
DM, we want to split the party.
Yeah, sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I'm going to the
Split the
I'm
party
going to
into
the
five.
I'm going to the plane of fire right now. I'm just gonna jump in the astral
God.
pit and
Yep.
show up.
Right,
Divided
Chris,
you fall.
let's give that quick sign off.
We shall. But thank you very much for watching this very different D&D session.
Yeah.
With a lot of talking, a lot of intrigue, but hopefully next session we'll have some action and we'll see what the party get up to and how they're going to survive on such tiny amounts of health pool. They've all been spotting for each other, but
Well, really.
oh boy. All right. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you guys next week, and yeah, take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.